Hello everyone, welcome back to Boss Economic World. I'm your host, and as always, we are here to strip away the fancy jargon, laugh at the absurdity of financial politics, and restore the full, unvarnished picture of the global economy. Today is December 1st, 2025. Winter has settled over London, and it seems the economic chill is biting just as hard as the weather. If you've been watching the headlines, you know the narrative: the UK economy is stuck in the mud. The British malaise is no longer a temporary flu, it's looking like a chronic condition. But, wait. Look up in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's artificial intelligence, flying in to save the day with a cape made of GPUs and a promise of infinite productivity. Or, is it? Just yesterday, the UK's budget watchdog, the Office for Budget Responsibility, dropped a report that reads like a tragic comedy. It essentially tells the current Labour government, yes, AI is going to change everything. No, it's not going to save your job. Today, we are going to dive deep into this report. We're going to talk about the J-curve, why the City of London is sweating, and why Chancellor Rachel Reeves might be wishing she had a time machine rather than a large language model. Buckle up. Let's follow the money. Let's set the scene. It has been nearly a year and a half since the Labour Party won that landslide victory in mid-2024. Do you remember the optimism? The change slogans? Well, here we are in late 2025, and the polling numbers for the government are looking as dismal as a rainy Tuesday in Manchester. The core problem hasn't changed: productivity. For those new to the channel, let's clarify what productivity is. It's not just working harder, it's working smarter. It's how much value a worker produces per hour. Since the 2008 financial crisis, UK productivity has flatlined. Economists call it the productivity puzzle. I call it economic purgatory. The government has been praying for a miracle. They need growth to pay for the NHS, defense, and the transition to green energy without taxing the population into a revolution. Enter artificial intelligence. The narrative sold by Silicon Valley is simple: you install the AI does the work, profits go up, tax revenue goes up, and everyone buys a yacht. But the OBR, the folks whose job it is to be the designated drivers at the fiscal party, just poured cold water on that timeline. Their latest analysis suggests that while AI could provide a massive 0.8 percentage point lift to productivity growth, this boost is a future problem. Here is the kicker: the OBR predicts that most of these glorious economic gains will arrive in the second half of the coming decade. That is beyond the current 5-year fiscal forecast. More importantly, it is beyond the next general election, which is due around mid-2029. For Chancellor Rachel Reeves, this is a disaster. She is battling to plug a £22 billion black hole in the public finances today. She needs cash now. The OBR is telling her, don't worry, you'll be rich in 2032. In politics, 2032 might as well be the next century. Now, let's get into the economics of why this delay is happening. Why can't we just switch on the AI and get rich? The OBR report references two potential trajectories for AI adoption: the S-curve and the J-curve. The S-curve is the optimist's dream. It's the iPhone model. Technology is released, adoption explodes immediately, and value is created instantly. The line goes up and to the right, smooth as silk. But the OBR, backed by historical data from the Industrial Revolution and the computer age, argues that AI will likely follow a J-curve. Imagine the letter J. What does it do first? It goes down. This is what economist Erik Brynjolfsson calls the productivity paradox. When you introduce a revolutionary general-purpose technology like steam engines, electricity, or AI, productivity often drops initially. Why? Because you have to reorganize the entire factory. In 2025, British companies are spending billions buying Nvidia chips and Microsoft Copilot subscriptions. That is a capital cost. However, the staff doesn't know how to use them effectively yet. Workflows are broken. Management is confused. We are currently in the investment phase where we spend money and time learning, which drags productivity down. The OBR warns that AI might initially cause employment losses and disruption. This is the bottom hook of the J. Only after the systems are integrated, likely in the late 2020s or early 2030s, does the line shoot upward. So, for the next 3 years, the exact window where the Labour government needs to show results, we might be stuck in the valley of death of the J-curve. Let's talk about who is actually getting disrupted. This isn't like the 1980s where robots replaced assembly line workers. This is about the service economy. The UK is a service superpower. We sell law, accounting, consulting, and finance. The OBR estimates that around 40% of jobs in the UK could be materially impacted by AI in the next decade. The sectors most exposed? Finance and professional services. If you are a junior analyst in the City of London, or a paralegal, or an auditor, the AI agents rolling out in 2025 are gunning for your tasks. The OBR says most roles will be complemented rather than replaced. That is the polite way of saying, one person using AI will do the work of 3 people, and the other 2 will need to find something else to do. Dan Hansen, the chief UK economist at Bloomberg Economics, put it perfectly. He said, the big risk is that AI adoption comes with significant disruption in the labor market, limiting the boost to the economy as a whole. If companies fire people faster than they create new high-value roles, aggregate demand drops. Unemployed people don't buy houses, and they don't pay income tax. This creates a terrifying gap for the government. They might get the productivity boost eventually, but first, they have to survive a potential wave of white-collar displacement. Let's look at the numbers, because the numbers don't lie even if they are hypothetical. The OBR ran a simulation. They calculated that if productivity growth were on average just 0.4 percentage points higher across the forecast period, it would result in an extra £44 billion of tax revenue by 2030-31. £44 billion. That is huge. That wipes out the deficit. That pays for the aging population. That allows for tax cuts. But remember, that is a hypothetical scenario for the next decade. Right now, Chancellor Reeves is stuck in the mud. On Wednesday, she had to raise taxes just to secure a measly £22 billion buffer to balance day-to-day spending. She is scraping the bottom of the barrel, taxing capital gains and inheritances, making herself unpopular, all while a potential £44 billion windfall sits just out of reach on the horizon. It's like being thirsty in the desert and seeing an oasis, but the oasis is 5 years away and you have to walk through a minefield of unemployment to get there. Now, what about the Bank of England? Surely, they are factoring this technological revolution into their interest rate decisions? Actually, no. Governor Andrew Bailey and the Monetary Policy Committee are playing it incredibly safe. In their annual stocktake of the supply side of the economy, they have yet to include any significant impact from AI. Megan Green, a BOE rate setter, admitted this on Thursday. She said, if you're wondering what's gone into our forecast, AI hasn't really fit into it. Why? Because central bankers are naturally conservative. They look at lagging indicators. They are waiting to see the productivity show up in the GDP data before they believe it. This is risky. If the supply side of the economy does expand rapidly because of AI, the BOE might keep interest rates too high for too long, suffocating the very growth we need. Conversely, if AI causes mass layoffs, the BOE might need to cut rates drastically to prevent a recession. Right now, they are flying blind, driving by the rearview mirror while a Ferrari engine is being installed in the car. So, what is the truth behind this event? The truth is that the UK is facing a timing mismatch crisis. 1. The political cycle versus the economic cycle. Politics operates on a 4 to 5 year cycle. Transformative technology operates on a 10 to 15 year cycle. The Labour government is planting seeds that will grow into trees long after they have likely lost power. They will take the pain of the disruption while the next government will likely reap the rewards of the higher tax revenue. 2. The demographics versus the tech. We have an aging population now. Spending pressures on defense and climate change are here now. But the AI payoff is later. This gap creates a dangerous fiscal squeeze where debt could rise sharply before the AI cavalry arrives to pay it off. 3. The hype versus the reality. AI is not a magic wand, it is an industrial revolution. And industrial revolutions are messy. They destroy old ways of life before they build new ones. The OBR's analysis is a sober wake-up call. They are telling us that while AI is indeed a game-changing general-purpose technology akin to the steam engine, we cannot bank on it to save the current budget. For Rachel Reeves and the Labour government, the message is grim: you have to fix the economy the hard way. You cannot wait for the robots to pay the bills. For the investors and finance professionals watching this, watch the J-curve. The next 24 months might look ugly as companies struggle to integrate these tools. We might see productivity fakeouts where companies fire staff but don't see immediate gains. But, if the OBR is right, the 2030s could bring a productivity boom we haven't seen since the 1990s. The question is, who will be left standing to enjoy it? In the end, economics is about allocation of scarce resources. Right now, the scarcest resource in the UK isn't money, and it isn't intelligence. It's time. I'm your host, and this has been Boss Economic World. If you want to survive the J-curve, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and maybe learn how to fix a robot just in case. See you in the next episode.